Bleach, the series that was my introduction to the world of manga when I stumbled across a random volume in the library one day many years ago. I was so intrigued by that initial volume that it led to my search for more Bleach and subsequently changed me from being just a casual anime watcher to a hardcore manga reader also. While I'm sure Kubo tied up the series the best he could, I can't help but feel that many of the plot lines and characters that were built over so many years did have rushed endings, and in some case, no conclusive ending at all. However, with the announcement that Bleach's anime will be returning to round out the manga's last arc, it inspired me to dedicate some time to rereading and rewatching Bleach, and that's where I got the idea to document some of these thoughts on video. In today's video, I'm going to be looking at 4 Bankai that personally I am most disappointed that we never got to see. Of course, I can't document all the Bankai we didn't see, so if you feel that there is somebody that I definitely should have had on the list, drop it in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into this list and have a look at these 4 candidates in order of least disappointing to most. Oh, and apologies in advance if I butcher any of the Shinigami's names, but once you get used to saying the names in a certain way, it's hard to switch up to the proper pronunciation. Let's go. I remember reading Bleach weekly when Nemaya was introduced in the 1000 Year Blood War arc along with the rest of the Zero Division. The pre-reveal talk was what really raised my expectations for this mythical division of captains, and the reveal in chapter 517 left me very underwhelmed to say the least. I had imagined that the Zero Squad would have been comprised of a team with characters of a more stoic and maybe even unfriendly nature, given the immense pressure and responsibility they have in protecting the Soul King. I would have also expected to see some immense anger or disappointment at the fact that they are suddenly required to leave his side and attend to a situation that essentially should have been handled and dealt with by the Gotei 13. The comical nature that the characters have during their introduction really did throw me completely off. Nemaya's design, however, did strike me as different and interesting. The puffer jacket in particular was a great fit with his character. His reveal of his contribution to Soul Society being that he is the creator of the Zanpakuto led me to believe that his Shikai and Bankai would be something that compares to the most impressive Zanpakutos that we've already seen. But sadly, we already know that this was not to be. Now, to be fair to Kubo, Nemaya and the Zero Squad had to lose in order for the story to raise the stakes and reach a conclusion. The manner of them losing is what caused the issue with most Bleach fans, including myself. Nemaya, creator of the Zanpakuto, confronts Yuha's elite squad in the Royal Palace and cuts them all down with his self-described one-hit, one-kill Zanpakuto. The shoot stuff were then revived by Yuha, and they then kill Nemaya and the rest of the squad off screen. No Shikai or Bankai reveal for the creator of the Zanpakuto? Really, Kubo? He should have at least got a one-on-one fight similar to Ichibe's instead of wasting chapters to flash back to the less interesting fights in the Soul Society. Now, due to the time restrictions, I'm pretty sure Kubo was rushing to finish up character arcs and wind down the story, but to have the squad that was described as being more powerful than the combined force of the Gotei 13 being cut down essentially with minimal effort and without any major ability reveals minus Ichibe was a major disservice to these characters, and I would have not had them engage in combat at all if this was the only way the arc could be concluded. But there is a ray of hope. With the anime returning at some point in the near future, maybe we will get some more screen time for Nemaya and possibly a more in-depth look at his abilities, or even a flashback fight hopefully, so we can see his Zanpakuto in action. My favourite female character in the Bleach series, former captain of the 2nd Division, Yuruichi. And here, I have to give Kubo some major props. Yuruichi throughout the series is mostly displayed as a strong female with the accolades to match. An example of this is her being the first woman to ever become head of the Shihoin clan in her Soul Society days. She's also shown throughout the series that when it comes to combat, she's no slouch and can hold her own against some of the strongest entities in the Bleach universe. Unlike Nemaya, we have had plenty of occasions in which Yuruichi has fought during the series, the most notable and arguably her best fight being against her mentee Soifon during the Soul Society arc. Now, although this fight was great, it mainly consisted of hand-to-hand combat and tests of speed, which made sense given the background of both characters and the unique relationship shared between the two. She also has a smaller fight with the Espada known as Yami during the Aranka arc. However, this again mainly consists of brute strength and hand-to-hand combat. I would not really expect her to use her Zanpakuto against such a low-level opponent. I mean, this is pre-reveal Yami we're talking about here. The perfect opportunity I feel that she should have used her Zanpakuto was against Ishin in the Fate Karakura Town arc. Now in this fight, Yuruichi appears with armour, which many, including myself, assumed might be her Shikai. What struck me most was the bulkiness of the armour, and I had thoughts that maybe Kubo was hinting towards a Bankai that significantly impacted her size and speed, not very dissimilar to Soifon's Bankai, which I completely hated. However, this is just revealed to be armour, and she again mainly utilises her speed and hand-to-hand skills in the fight against Ishin. My major gripe here would be, Why in a fight that determines the fate of both the world and Soul Society would she not be open to using her Zanpakuto and go all out with it against Aizen at this point? This is where I felt like it would have made the most sense, as a character like Aizen cannot be beat by mere strength or speed. You might not even get close enough to him to deal enough physical damage during the fight. This leads to her final major fight in the 1000-Year Blood War arc against Askin, in which I feel Kubo was dealing out the fan service in droves at this point, and gave us a hypersexualized and out of control Yuruichi, which is in stark contrast to her combat style during earlier fights. I doubt we'll ever get a look at her Zanpakuto, even with the anime returning, just due to how her character arc was wrapped up. And although I feel some additions will be made to the anime returning, too many may ruin the integrity of the manga and how it ended. Given the length of her run in this series and her constant reappearances with good, if not great fights in between, I guess I can't be too upset with how her role played out in the end. Ishin Kurosaki, former captain of the 10th Division, father of the main character Ichigo Kurosaki, and also former head of one of the 5 noble houses. I'll be real, I was never really a big fan of Ishin until he easily defeated Grand Fisher. You remember, Grand Fisher? That hollow who gave Ichigo plenty of issues in real life, and most likely nightmares in his dreams? Yeah, with his sealed sword as well at that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I do like that Kubo followed the setup that most popular anime use when it comes to the main protagonist's father. You know, the fathers tend to be legendary fighters in their own right, but having them around in the series may incur the risk of them overimposing their presence, which can then have the downside of taking away shine from their offspring. Quick examples of this include Minato Uzumaki, father of Naruto, who was described as one of the most powerful shinobi in history, but died while Naruto was an infant, so his involvement in the story is pretty non-existent, apart from when he's revived, but that's another story for another time. Another example is Monkey D. Dragon from One Piece, father of Monkey D. Luffy, who again is another powerful being in the One Piece universe, but due to his own goals and aspirations, he's also not involved in the main plot of the series as much. Kubo has managed, in my opinion, to have Ishin involved just the right amount to which he's a welcome sight every time he's seen by the viewer. I do theorize though, that if Kubo was given more time, that he may have included Ishin a lot more during the final arc, and possibly given him a fight against one of the stronger and more senior members of the Stern Ritter, in order for us to see his full capability. But still, similar to Yuruichi, I feel the perfect time to see his Bankai would have been in the major fight he has against Aizen in the Fate Karakura Town arc, which he impressively managed to hold his own against Aizen, despite Aizen changing into different, stronger, evolved states. His ability to blow Aizen away with a single flick of the finger being a particular highlight for me. I felt like getting his Bankai would have just been the cherry on top to his character arc, and dare I say, if he did ultimately pass away after fighting Aizen, or succumbing to his injuries from fighting Aizen and then training Ichigo straight after, it would have made Ichigo's final fight with Aizen, in which he sacrificed all his spiritual awareness, all that more potent. This spot could have only gone to one person. The character who most of us have been waiting for their Bankai since we'd first seen them in combat action. The one person that Kubo should have made sure he pre-planned to give us his Bankai before all of the other reveals. I'm speaking about none other than Iba Tetsuzamon. All jokes aside, although I'm sure there are 1 or 2 people out there that desperately wanted to have Iba's Bankai revealed, I'm talking of course about one of the greatest anime and manga villains in recent history, Sosuke Aizen, the former captain of the 5th Division and leader of the Arrancar army. Aizen's long history in the Bleach universe has given us some of the series' best moments, and also in my opinion one of the greatest plot twists in history, with his backstabbing nature being revealed in brutal fashion during the end of the Soul Society arc. I do feel like Kubo wrote himself into a corner here, in the sense that Aizen's already OP powers, with his abilities and his Shikai, how could it have led to his Bankai being anything else other than broken? I remember when the manga was still being released weekly seeing some wild theories about Aizen's potential Bankai. Some thought that it could possibly be time related and allow for him to control time, while others thought that it would possibly be for him to be able to interact with reality itself and control it at his will. These theories were all interesting, but of course, as we all know, the series did end without his Bankai being revealed. Again, like the previous candidates on the list, I feel like there were definitely opportunities which would have best suited a reveal for his Bankai, namely when he fought Old Man Yama during the Fate Karakura Town arc. This was dealt with quite cleverly by Aizen, with the creation of the only modified Arrancar in existence, Wonderwise, being introduced to nullify Yamamoto's Zanpakuto. And that's what perhaps assuages most fans when it comes to Aizen, that his superior planning and intellect allows him to easily manipulate and anticipate the moves of others. This allows for him to outsmart his rivals easily and rely on force only as a secondary measure. His skill with his sword is evidently shown throughout the series. one of the particular highlights being him cutting down the 4 captains during the fake town arc, and it showed that his sword was one of the most dangerous and that he could easily defeat high level opponents with hand-to-hand combat as well as being able to use his Shikai. His release from prison in the final arc gave Kubo a final opportunity to utilise him and give us that much wanted Bankai reveal that we all wanted. This was not to be, however, as he engages with Yuha during the final fight with a mixture of both Kido and the hypnosis from his pre-released Kyoka Sugets. At this point, a rush Bankai for Aizen would have only ruined the anticipation that was built up over many years, and a small part of me is happy that the mystery surrounding Aizen was expanded upon by his non-Bankai reveal. It keeps the fans in healthy discussion and gave me the inspiration for this video in the first place. Well, that's the list completed. Please do consider dropping a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. I will be trying to pump out more content like this and other anime and TV, film, video games, all that good stuff surrounding nerd culture. Stay blessed and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.